Now, President Obama and the government in general has been losing the confidence of the American people on the spying issue. We've shown you polls where they're beginning to say, hey, wait a minute now, we don't think Edward Snowden's a traitor. We think he's a whistleblower, and we think the government is keeping secrets from us on how much they're spying on us. In fact, there's a couple of news stories out today about it. The Wall Street Journal, of all places, broke a story saying that, you know how the government says, well, you know, every once in a while we might inadvertently collect some Americans' emails, but mainly we're trying to collect the emails of foreigners. Sometimes we'll slip up. Well, it turns out they've slipped up so much that they've collected the internet information of 75% of the American people. Oops. Did we accidentally get 75% of the American people's information? Little slip up. That's from the Wall Street Journal. And also, the government just admitted today, right before we went on air, that yeah, back in 2011 we admitted to the courts that we didn't have a couple hundred errors, a couple of thousand errors when we accidentally collected information of American citizens. Back then we admitted that over a 3-year span we collected 56,000 Americans' information and looked at it. Okay, now, as I told you, they collect far more than that, but these are the cases where they actually went into Americans' info and they confess, they admit, yes, we looked at your private data when we shouldn't have. Not a couple of cases, 56,000 cases. Oops. That's when the court said that you got to find ways of limiting that collection and spying in on Americans, and they haven't so far. So that leads us to our polls and how Americans feel about this, but most importantly, how young Americans feel about it. Because remember, President Obama appealed to the youth vote and said, I'm going to bring change and just trust me, it's not politics as usual. Well, okay, so let's look at him with the case of Edward Snowden. And they asked people under the age of 29, USA Today Pew Research did, do you think there should be a criminal case against Edward Snowden? Now, in television, all you hear is yes, 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 yes. Well, among Americans under 29, they say no. By 50 to 44% margin, they say there should be no criminal case. He is a whistleblower. Forget traitor, no criminal case whatsoever, okay? Now, how about exposing the surveillance program? Was it a public good? And this dichotomy is really interesting. For people who are 18 to 29-year-olds, 60% say yes, it was a public good. That's a big, solid number. Those over the age of 65, senior citizens, only 36% say it's a public good. In other words, nah, that guy is a traitor, I tell you. Whereas the young are like, no, he's not. He did something that was positive. So wait, which party was President Obama with again? Was he with the Republican Party who wants to protect the rich, the powerful, protect the conservative, traditional base? Or was he the guy who ran on Change and Hope and told all those young voters, oh, don't worry, I'm going to change the system? Turns out he didn't change anything. He kept the Bush-Cheney system and viciously goes after anyone who dares tell you about the Bush-Cheney system that he has maintained. You think everybody's stupid? Yes, some people still watch TV. And when they watch TV, they go, on TV, they told me he was a traitor. I think he is. Well, I got news for you. People under 29 years old, they don't watch TV. They get their news from the internet. Sad day for you. So they actually find out the truth. And they don't like what you're doing. So how has it affected his popularity in that category? Well, it's a 14-point swing in Obama's approval to disapproval rating among voters aged 18 to 29. And now that's from a different poll, The Economist, YouGov poll. I've seen polls that had even a wider margin for how much he's lost among the young. But that youth vote is sliding away. And the best quote ever was this young girl that I ran into who had voted for the first time in 2008. She voted for President Obama. I saw her at an airport. We talked for a little while. We were sitting next to one another. And I asked her if she was going to vote for Obama in 2012. So obviously this was a little while back. And she said, no. She said, after Obama, what is there left to hope? And God, that's so true, unfortunately. What do young people have to get excited about? This is the guy who said he was going to change everything, and he kept everything the same and punishes anyone who dares change that system. What is there left to hope for? All right. Cal Gilson, who's a Southern Methodist University professor, says, as a possible explanation for young people and why they don't want to be spied on, and mind you, I think this is ridiculous, and I'll explain why. Quote, It's their parents who were shocked to their core by 9/11, while I think younger voters probably have factored in 9/11 as a historical event, but are more concerned by today's NSA pervasive presence. God, people come up with nonsense all the time. One of the pieces of nonsense was, oh, no, younger people, they don't mind being spied in on at all because they have Facebook, they have Instagram, and they are all revealing that information to the government voluntarily anyway, all the time, so they don't mind it. Except then you get polls that say the exact opposite. That's not true. They mind it a lot. In fact, they mind it more than any other category of Americans. Oh, okay, well, that's because they didn't see 9/11 with their own eyes. If they had, their eyes would have popped out of their socket and they would have said, yes, please rip up the Constitution. But I got news for you. I saw 9/11. I'm not 13 years old. One of my best friends was in the third highest building there. He was scared out of his mind. Dave Kohler, who helped found the show, was in New York, was covered with ash. My parents live in the area. You think we weren't scared when we couldn't reach them and we couldn't reach our friends? Yes, I saw 9/11. But right after 9/11, I didn't say, oh, I'm so panicked. Al-Qaeda's right. We should stop being a free country. We should rip up and burn our Constitution and let the government have absolute power and let them spy in on us and abuse our civil rights. Some of us didn't think that because some of us weren't cowards. I guess they assume, well, the whole country, as soon as we saw 9/11, we realized democracy and liberty was a mistake. And these young kids, these whippersnappers, they don't understand it. They didn't see the fear that we had in our eyes when we saw 9/11. They still believe in the country. No, don't assume that everybody's as scared as you are. No, the reason that the younger voters are going in this direction is because they are actually more educated. They actually have access to far greater information because they're online and they're not getting fed the nonstop propaganda of the government through the mainstream press. The government is always right. Bow your head. The people who give you information about what your government's up to, they're all traitors and treasonous bastards like Bradley Manning and Edward Snowden. Well, guess what, President Obama and the United States government and the establishment media? We don't believe you.